this guy.
He was doing so well all day, and now he just can't stay up.
Well, that's fine. It happens to everyone.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Ba-doom-tsh.
How's it going there, gamers? I'm Pruitt. This is Jim Davis, and today is our special guest is Cody Lewis from Taking20. We're going to be talking to him about his channel, and we're also going to roll the die here. Let's get to it.
Boom.
So, Cody, you're on Roll20, which is something we have not used. We've only used Google Hangouts to do online gaming.
Right. I'm sorry.
Well, I looked at it and I was just like, we don't really need to right now. And then Jim moved off and was like, well, now we need to.
Now we need to.
We just don't know how to.
Yeah,
so
we went with what we knew.
Why did you like Roll20 as a format for playing online?
It was so hard to find people to game with. And it's so annoying to kind of like have to pack up all your books and all your minis and your Chessex map and drive over to somebody's house and unload, the Funyuns and eat a pizza. And, I like gaming in my pajamas. So I started checking out Roll20 and I started learning as much as I possibly could about it, soaking it up. Next thing you know, I had kind of mastered it, if you will. And so that's why I started the Roll20 Master Series here on YouTube. I started with just one video about Roll20, showing people how to make their monster manual, because everybody talks about, I don't have time to prep on Roll20. That's their big bugaboo.
Right.
And so I wanted to help people make that simpler, faster, and easier. And then people started asking more questions. And ultimately, that's when I decided to go ahead and push forward with this. It was like, dude, let's help people do this. Let's show people that how to game on Roll20 so you could game more. I mean, because without Roll20, I wouldn't be able to play in a weekly game.
Right.
I might be able to play a game here and there, but there's zero chance I would have been able to be involved in a weekly campaign without just being able to log on and hang out with my buddies and play online. So that's kind of what I wanted to do with the channel, was help other people do those things. They go, I don't have time to game.
Right. Bring more to the hobby.
That's something that about Roll20 that just like completely passed me by, because Pruitt and I are lucky enough to have played in a game with a group that's been together for, some of us, 16 years or more.
Yeah.
And that's how long we've been gaming together. So it's never been a question of who am I going to game with. It's more, can everybody get the same night off?
Right.
And eventually, it after years of it always being Sunday, it just never became a question. It was like, are we going to play tonight? It's like, no, it's 2 o'clock on Sunday. It's game time.
Right.
And so I just did not have my ear to the ground on anything Roll20 related, any of the virtual tabletops. It was like, oh, it's got dynamic lighting, which may or may not be really a pain in the ass to have to deal with. And I just happily was continuing my gaming without thinking about it at all. And it wasn't until I moved 2,000 miles away and was like, all right, we want to continue the gaming group we have. What are our options? And looking at Roll20 and being like, well, this is way more complicated than I was expecting.
Yeah.
If you want to learn how to master Roll20,
Yeah.
that's what I can help with. That's what the Roll20 Master Series
Damn
is for.
Skippy.
It's aimed at people who have at least played a game in it before and are a little familiar kind of with what it's capable of.
Right.
But for those people that move away and they have their friends move away and they can't game anymore, that's the whole reason that I kind of jumped on this ship. And that's another reason why I wanted to help make the whole channel in the first place, is because people just like you who are like, I've got to game. How am I going to game?
Right.
You can still do it.
Well, you obviously have a lot of advice to give, a lot of information to hand out.
Don't sell yourself short. Come on.
Come on now. So,
Selling myself short or setting myself up for failure.
Gotcha.
well, either
Fine
way,
line.
we'll see.
Okay.
We're gonna do a little funness here. We have a lot of random questions from our fans.
I'm so in. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
All right, well,
So-
let you do the honors. This is a plushy die, so you're going to have to
Is this
roll it
for
as
me?
best you can.
Is this for me?
This is...
So there's gonna be a
If
lot.
you would like to
Rolling
buy
the
a
D220.
WebDM plush dice on eBay, you can check out links in the description below.
Yes.
Don't do that. It doesn't exist.
We don't have it
That's-
yet.
That's false advertising.
Just give it a roll.
Yeah, just give it a roll, but
Do your
don't
best.
All right, here we go. We got a...
It's an 18. It's an
All right,
18.
18.
Comes from our friends on Twitter. What is the difference between chaotic neutral and chaotic stupid?
What's the
Chaotic
difference?
neutral and chaotic stupid.
Is there a difference?
There must be a difference. I think the difference would be, are you a jerk at the table, or do you try to make your inappropriate and difficult alignment still work for everyone else? That's where I draw the line. Are you going to be a dick about it, or are you going to like try to make this work?
To me, chaotic neutral is just someone who, they're walking down the street and they might just sit down and start picking in the dirt. And then you're just talking to them at dinner and you look over and they're playing their flute instead of eating. I mean, just random, I don't know. To me, it's just be as random as you can be. But you don't have to be a dick about it.
I think maybe
you don't have to just steal stuff and go, oh, I'm a chaotic neutral.
It's like somebody that just doesn't like structure. They're a free spirit.
Yeah.
Right. That doesn't mean you have to be a complete moron at the table the whole time.
I don't think so. It doesn't mean that you have to that you deliberately do things that are dangerous or detrimental to the party. You might do things because you're bored.
Well, yeah.
And then stir up trouble because of that. You might be like a drama seeker and kind of stir the pot. And some of that might mean tracking the Minotaur back to the party because you're just bored.
My only experience with this was my halfling barbarian, Roscoe Threestone. That he was basically Leroy Jenkins before his time, where we're at a party and this guy just wants to, there's 3 orcs and the rogue wants to plan out a whole thing, and he just got bored. He's like, and I was like, my guy takes off running, and the DM's like, Roscoe starts running towards the orcs, and I ran up and I killed 2 of them before they ever got there, and then they finished off the last one, and I was like, what was so hard about that?
Bored. That's a good way to describe chaotic neutral.
You want
very bored character.
Keep your chaotic neutral characters doing something. Give them a yo-yo that'll explode every now and again. I don't know, just something to keep their, something shiny. I don't know.
Good answer.
Sure.
Effort.
Yeah. It's time to roll the big D20.
Pruitt, you want me to go? I'll let you go.
It's 2.
2.
Dos.
Any fun ideas on how to play a zombie survival session where the team is holed up in a town or inn as it is besieged by the undead or any enemy, really?
We just...
track things, I like this too. Track things like NPC morale, fortification, health, supplies in case of extended torment.
How I would approach that, first off, what type of zombies you got? Do they have infectious bites? Are they fast zombies? Are they slow zombies?
Yeah, like Night of the Living Dead or 28 Days Later.
Right, or Left 4 Dead, where there's vomiting zombies and wailing zombies and whatever. Or is it, that kind of zombie horde? Or is it are all undead? Are ghosts on the table? Do we have to worry about keeping out ghosts? Because then you're screwed.
Right.
So I don't know. I'd establish what kind of horde of monsters it's going to be first, and that's going to determine. I mean, if it's like a village, then there's probably a wall. That's going to be easy to keep them out. But food's going to run out. What if people start turning while you're in there? And people are going to be at each other's throats. The worst part of a zombie survival horror is the other people.
Yep.
So I think tracking NPC morale, having a random events table where bad mishaps, they're just going to happen. Roll on that thing every day. We ran out of more. We thought we had this much food, and turns out we had less. Mm-hmm. Those are kind of ways that I would structure it, add tension. And then also it's still D&D, so it's got to be low enough level that the players don't just book it out of there with a teleport or a fly, or they call in their griffin, or they open the rainbow bridge and leave for another dimension. But maybe that's just the kind of game you run, and you want that.
I think a key to this would be a lot of prep when it comes to the place.
The place.
The place, you have to know every door, every nook, every cranny. You can't, that's not something that I think you can improv, the place. Because your players are going to be counting on you, counting on this to be a real, feasible location to go up the floor, down a floor, lock this door, leave that one open.
Yeah.
And I also think you probably need to have a couple of exit strategies for them that they can discover, they could come across. If you're just in there and you're just they'll figure out a way to get out of it. Yeah, that may not make for a great ending to the game, unless of course they get chomped on by zombies.
Right,
which is a great ending.
Which could be a really great ending. If
you're the zombies, yeah.
But definitely making sure you've got a nice detailed map, one that preferably the players can interact with and look at it and see, all right, we've got our barricade over here, and this is where we've got that one trap and our store of food. I don't know. Yeah, you definitely have to do a lot more prep.
I want to add one thing. I think it would be cool if you're doing this to throw in a discoverable story, notes or letters about this woman's affair or something, some kind of a story that's going on in the background, kind of video gamey, where they're picking up journal pieces or something like that, to give a backdrop to the, holy crap,
that's why this guy sent an undead horde here.
Yes, something like that.
Something
exactly
like
right.
that. Or even just color. Just something that maybe doesn't even necessarily have to have to relate to the undead. It's just something else for the players to discover.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be somebody there who maybe they're not 100% into the premise, or they're there because they're hanging out with their friends, but they could take or leave this whole horde thing. So maybe there's something else going on, like an orphan that's kind of play off of Aliens. Like, oh, I swear to God, I saw the kid and he was there. And there's only zombies outside.
Right. and what that also would do is have those moments where you read the journals as you're cooped up in this inn or whatever, and you're reading journals of different people from the town, and then as you're fighting, you start to realize, like, now you're having to kill that person that you just read the journal of.
Oh, that's so great. I love that. Hashtag side quests.
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. Roll the big D20.
Jim Davis.
Oh.
Pruitt, save the day.
Bum, 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 bum.
4.
How to add old school flavor back into the game. How to get followers, hirelings, clerics who want to build a temple, rogue who wants to form a guild. I'm talking about the fluff for change's sake.
Jim?
All right, so, do you want a flippant answer? Because the flippant answer is to go play basic Dungeons & Dragons and just leave 5th edition to 5th edition. But that's presumably not what you're talking about, and you want this kind of thing. My recommendation would be to purchase a game known as Adventurer, Conqueror, King. And it has a ton of rules for domain management, establishing guilds, wizards building their own towers and harvesting monster parts, temples, mercenary companies, managing kingdoms, and just rip those out of the book, physically or metaphorically, and use those in your 5th edition game. Because I think that they're some of the most well thought out domain management rules outside of maybe Rules Cyclopedia D&D. And because it's still Dungeons & Dragons, it's a retro clone, the stuff from Adventurer, Conqueror, King can be used with 5th edition with a minimum of tweaking. Personally, if it were me, I would just want to use the entire equipment and economic and domain management system from Adventurer, Conqueror, King and just replace 5th editions with it. And I think 5th edition is flexible enough to do that. That would be my first recommendation. If you don't want to go buy another book, I would probably start with the downtime activities, expand those out, make a downtime activity for sort of each one of the things that you're wanting to encourage, random encounter table associated with it or a random outcome table. And then just make sure that you know what the players want. Why do they want to establish a Thieves Guild? Why do they want to set up a domain? Is that something you're foisting on them or something that they're asking for? That'll make a big difference.
Yeah, understanding their motivation behind it is definitely important there. I always tell people, talk to your players. Figure out what type of game you want to run. If this is something that you want to do, okay, make sure your players are on the same page. How gamey do you want it to be? How board gamey with the rules, how the table, stuff like that. If they just want to do it because they think that would be cool for my character and they're coming to you as a game master or dungeon master, then I think that you could bring that back a lot. It would be terrible to do all that prep work and pull from that and pull. Pathfinder has Kingmaker. That's another good one.
Yeah.
And then them be like, oh well, I just thought it'd be cool for my guy to have a follower.
You just go hire a follower.
Right.
Because that, again, not to be flippant, but just do it. You can hire henchmen. You can just say, I want to start a Thieves Guild, and you start that. And as the DM, you should take that in consideration. Is there another Thieves Guild in that town? Is anybody going to be mad that you're now moving in on their territory?
Starting your own crew,
right? So, but these are all things that you can do, not necessarily with, you don't need tables and stuff, just talk to them like, oh, I want to do this. Well, now you need to go make some contacts, have people that want to join, go blackmail some people so they start coming around.
These things can be an outgrowth of the game. That you can acquire henchmen and followers because your character is a stand-up guy who treats the people he adventures with well, or maybe she has a reputation for fairness and people flock to her and say, hey, you're a great warrior, a mighty wizard, whatever it is, we want to be near you and around you. And so if you have a player who wants those kind of followers, then maybe as the DM you have NPCs approach them and say, hey, I want what you got, I want to be your magic rub up on me.
I think PCs are all murder hobos, let's be honest. They're not attracting followers because they're treating people fairly.
Well, they should.
Well, you should come game with us.
At least at my table.
Because we kind of have a little bit more evolved sensibility about it. That's why
that's not always true.
No. I was about.
I told you.
I was just about to say, now recently we did do the Out of the Abyss game,
Yeah, we did
and that
run an
was a
evil
good
campaign.
pressure release.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is every
Very
now and
true.
again, you just need to get in there and get some catharsis out, you know? Just gonna go kill some stuff, and it's good. But, you know, for the most part, like when we role play, you know, I mean, hell, at the end of your Out of the Abyss game, though, one person was king of a thing.
Well, yes,
One
by the end
person-
of that, the one was the Deep King,
Yeah.
Oathbreaker Paladin, who was the Deep King of Gragglestug. We had a vampire necromancer with the Wand of Orcus, who was starting her own death cult in the ruins of Neverlight Grove.
Awesome.
And let's see what your character, Psychic Vampire, was establishing their own sort of evil fight club monastery.
Yeah,
thing.
a mystical monastery that had no entrance, so you had to be pretty good to even get there.
Yeah, and then-
I wielded Black Razor for a while, and I knew I
Black
had
Razor.
enemies. So.
And then the last one was a Lich Death Cleric who had allied himself with some vampires and red dragons and was burning the Dalelands to the ground.
Clearly, these are all characters that are so nice.
Yeah.
They're attracting followers
But
and
guess what?
henchmen that want to hang out with them.
Exactly, but we were building our armies, and we're still doing the
The
same thing.
vampire death cult lady was particularly nice and tried to establish an aura of respectability before.
Yeah, she even let a couple of her kind leave.
Yes, exactly.
How thoughtful.
Yeah, I had to kill them.
Yes,
So.
that's true.
Well, it had been a few days since Black Razor had eaten, and they were just going to give our position away. So.
So even in evil campaign, you can have followers and such.
Yeah.
You might not like them. They might be
might not be-
murder hobo than you are.
It might not be willing followers either.
Right.
All right, here we go.
There we go.
12.
Monstrous PCs.
That's it?
That's it.
That's it. Monstrous PCs.
I mean, are we talking like physically or just in their actions?
Emotionally.
Isn't it a size,
Emotionally.
Isn't it a size category? Isn't that what?
No, they're asking about people who want to play an ogre.
No.
People want to play a
Gnolls,
vampire.
Lithids, vampires, yeah.
You know.
Are you looking at me? Oh,
You
gosh.
roll, you
okay.
start.
Man, but see, I'm such a bad guy to ask this question because I'm the guy that I hate that shit.
what don't you like about it?
I know. Well, I'm very traditionalist, and that's okay. Like I understand that everybody has their settings. There's players out there that want to be gnolls and want to
Right,
be
right.
ogres and stuff, and that's totally cool. That's acceptable. Talk to your dungeon master. Make sure you're on the same page. Make sure you understand the setting. That's
Right.
key because gnolls in this place might be totally different than gnolls in this setting. Understanding that both as a dungeon master and a player is kind of key to setting up the whole campaign. Are we going to be chased out of every inn and tavern we go to? Do we need to be on guard for being attacked by just citizens? Is being an orc or a half troll, is that totally acceptable? And that's not a big deal, and that's just a cool quirk about your character? Understanding the setting, I think, is really key to running that. And if as a dungeon master, I will say this: even though I hate when my players do crazy stuff like that, I always say yes, and I always try to make a big deal about it.
Right.
Because those players don't want to just have their gnoll be a human. Don't want to feel like it's not special. Okay, there's a couple of things we got chased out of this one place. They want that to be a part of that character. They want that to be really important to that character's development. So
doubt,
consider that and try to highlight that. Make that a focal point of their race instead of necessarily their background.
So you might be the only gnoll that broke free of who's influence.
True.
And you're still a gnoll, a ravenous carnivore. The reputation that a gnoll comes with being a gnoll, but maybe you can keep it together just enough to pass in civilized society. But you're right, like you might have a setting where they hang goblins on site. I am generally like, let's whatever you want. Was it Nerdarchy where it was like, would you allow an Illithid player character? I was like, sure, why not? Like, what can an Illithid do that a high-level wizard can't? It was my sort of thinking behind it. And it might be interesting. What in the world would an Illithid be doing, traveling the surface, dealing with all these soft-brained, whatever's like, can you make it work? Would be the other. And I would put that on the player. They have got to make it work. It's up to them to come up with a scheme that means that their monstrous PC can fit in with a maybe more traditional party. If you're running all monstrous PCs, then I guess that's less of a problem.
Right.
And then I would just, for monstrous PCs that aren't in Boles or the Player's Handbook, I would suggest using feats to represent some of their abilities that they get that might be too powerful for a first level character. So how I did the vampire, a vampire PC in a campaign I run was, every few levels, she would take the vampire feat, which would give her a little bit of a stat boost and unlock one of the other abilities until by the time she was about 12th level and a full-on vampire. And it didn't matter that she could turn into a bat, turn into a spider, or turn into mist whenever she died, had a bit of regen because the rest of the party was 12th level and it wasn't that big a deal. So making those things be unlocked with feats is how I've done it so far in 5th edition.
Yeah, ditto. Y'all said everything I was going to, so I'm not going to waste any time.
Aww. I'm sorry, man.
It's fine. It's cool. It's good. It's fine. It's great.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Roll 20. Oh,
2 again.
Hang on.
2 again.
20.
Give me that critical hit.
Bravo, sir.
Create a min-max character off the top of your head.
Pruitt.
All optional rules
Come
are way
on.
allowed.
Come on, Pruitt.
A min-max character? All right, you're going to do a half-orc samurai. Feat you want. Obviously, you want to roll for it so you get as high a stat boost as possible. So let's say we don't need an ASI for stats, okay?
Okay.
First, you're going to do Great Weapon Master, Dodoy, right? Second, at 6th level, you're going to do Orcish Aggression.
Okay.
Or no, I'm sorry, Orc Fury from the new UA because that is just stupid.
All right.
Third, you're going to do either Heavy Armor Master or go ahead and bump whatever that is at 8th level.
Okay.
If you need a 20 strength, that's fine.
Okay.
But at least up till 10th level, if you did that and used Great Weapon, you would pretty much be killing everything, in my opinion. And it is the character that I want to play next.
That's a single class character.
That's a single class
straight
fighter,
fighter?
samurai, half orc, because you're rolling an extra die on crits. Orc Fury gives you another extra die once
does
every
give you
short
extra die.
rest.
Okay,
So you're
sure.
waiting for that crit, and guess what? You're a samurai, so I'm going to get advantage on all these, and I get disadvantage to hit me. Have fun with that, as I'm adding 10 to every fucking attack. And then I'm also action surge for 2 more, right?
Okay.
So yeah, you're literally just going to cut through everything. So
That's true.
there's my min-max fighter.
Is damage the only metric we have?
No, he just said min-max. I just
min-max?
because that's literally the thing I want to play
really-
next. Jim Davis?
I'll make a 20th level wizard.
Man, I was just going to say roll a bard. Roll a bard.
A lower bard, sure. Or even
Roll a
valor
bard. You win.
Yeah. So here's the 20th level wizard I'm making. He's probably gonna be halfling with a lucky feat and a diviner, so that I can just mess with dice. I just don't want to mess with it. I might even drop 3 into bard just for cutting words. Just that I have all the different ways to mess with your D20. My D20, your D20, somebody else's D20. I don't want to ever roll a 1, and I want to turn your 20s into 19s so that you can't crit on me. I might even go, if I don't feel like a halfling lucky diviner, I might do something like half-elf illusionist with keen mind and just abuse the hell out of Mirage Arcana and project image and hallucinatory terrain, and maybe dip 2 into warlock so I can have disguise self and silent image at will. But I don't know. Those are kind of the things. I don't know. It's kind of tough, right? Like 20 levels of wizard is really all you need. Or bard.
True.
Bard is a close runner-up, I think, because of Magic Secrets.
I won't go lower bar. I'll go Valor bar.
Nice. Okay.
Bard. Bar. I guess my mind's somewhere else. Human, Valor Bard, pretty simple, straightforward, high dex. You're going to want a lot of charisma as well. And then by the time you get to level 10, you've got extra attack already. At level 6, I think, is when they get that. And then at level 10, you get your ability to start stealing spells from other people. You steal the Ranger's spell that they can't get until level 15, even though you get it at level 10 of Swift Quiver. And you start firing off 4 hours a round. Hopefully you're doing a whole bunch of other fun magical things in addition to that, supporting your party, buffing with all kinds of bard fun stuff during heals. And at level 11, if you want to start picking up fighter to go grab some masteries, you could do that. Get your +2 to archery, and you'll be pretty nasty
There you go.
on the battlefield.
I think that's pretty good. There's probably a hand crossbow wielding fighter that it just is kind of, that you could come up with that is really cheesy, but I don't know. That's smelly cheese. I stay away from that kind of thing.
3 builds.
Three
How about
builds.
that?
Take us out with a song, Pruitt.
We come to the end of another adventure here on WebDM. I want to thank Cody for being over here. Get on over to Taking20. He's got a YouTube channel. He's also on Twitch, right?
Yeah, I'm on Twitch on Wednesdays. We start, kind of varies a little bit, but 8-ish at
8-ish.
night Central Time
Yeah.
or so.
But just get on over and subscribe to him over on Taking20 on YouTube. But as always, have fun and keep on rolling.
Thanks, guys.
you are. Oh my God.
Come on, Trev, turn
Oh
Jim on.
God. Jim, say something.
Turn him on.
I mean, we really should come up with a
Well said.
a script for when we need to just check audio. Check, chickadee, check, check, check.
How do you like your steak?
Apples,
How
banana.
did I do? How did I like what?
How do you like your steak done?
I like my steak done somewhere between rare and medium rare, depending on what kind of cut it
That's
is.
still too much.
You know.
Really? Cody, how do you like your steak done?
I'm a medium well kind of guy.
Oh God, you might as well just eat tires.
I live in Texas. That's fine.
We cook our meat here.
Yeah. Not a bunch of East
For
Coast
hours.
hippies.
Pruitt. You're cow vampire. All right, here we go.
Oh, you don't want to know how I make? Never. That's fine.
I actually don't know where Vermont is.
Cool.
It's
Actually,
way
well,
up
kind of
north.
do, actually. All right, how do you like your steak done?
I want my steak to just kiss medium rare. Okay. I don't want blood coming out. But good God,
kiss it.
leave some fucking flavor in
He
there.
wants a heavy petting with medium rare.
Yeah.
It's very flavorful if you're Dracula.
Hey, hey, man.
All right,
We got sharp teeth for a reason. We were meant to rip that shit apart. What's up? We doing this?
We're doing this.
All right.